Hey everybody, it's good to see you all again. This segment is just to kind of let you guys know what is going on in this episode. So, in this episode, there is a situation. Towards the end, or anywhere in this episode, there is a blank. That means there's no sound coming in the episode, and you might think that is your fault. That is my fault. You can blame me, say it was my fault, because that is editing problem, and that's because of recording and the recording platform that I use. If that happens to be in the episode, if that's in it, what you need to do is to just disregard it. Don't worry about it. Consider it like an ad break. Consider it like a break. Consider it like we're taking a 5 minute break. Consider it like that. So no freaking out. No need to worry. Make sure you guys enjoy the episode. Enjoy what's in it, and y'all have a good one. And enjoy this one. Really enjoy it and have fun. And please disregard the blanks in there. Consider them breaks. Hope you guys enjoy this episode, and thank you guys for understanding and for your cooperation. Hey everybody! Hey everybody, it's good to see you all again. This one's going to be a huge one. This artist, it's not just a little artist. It's not no rapper. It's not those little artists that you see every day. This one is a #1 iTunes artist, and I'm not reading that from a fake news. It's actually real. This is Tommi Tikka, and I'm so excited to meet you. Say hey to the world.
Hey, hi world, and how's it going? It's good to be part of this, man.
Yeah, it must be. Thank you so much. This is amazing. I mean, a #1 iTunes artist. Wow, I'm so honored to meet you and to do this. Thank you.
Oh, thanks. That's very kind. You know, I suppose I got lucky with with rodeo last year. You know, it did hit #1.
Yeah, you must have got real lucky. #1 is like so hard for a lot of artists to get #1, especially on the famous Billboard. It's so hard.
Well, perhaps one day I'll make it there as well. You know.
That'd be something. It's a possibility. Never
Oh yeah,
know.
well, guy. You know, a guy can dream, right?
Oh yeah. Most definite. Most definite. All right. So why don't you give the audience a little taste about yourself? Because a lot of us do not know you. So why don't you kind of give them a little taste?
You know, it's hard to know where to start. I'm a guy who writes tunes. Well, I started playing when I was 6. I remember my mom and dad. My mom and dad were basically music lovers. Every Friday night when they came home from work, I had this recollection of my dad pouring himself a stiff drink. He was a merchant marine in his youth. Poured himself a stiff drink, and that's when the records would come out. He had all these great albums in the 60s and 70s. And we'd listen to them. He'd tell me about the artists and tell me about the albums, and he was very musical, as was my mom. And so you could say that wasn't just the Friday nights. It was music was part of our everyday life. And I remember when I was 6, my dad had a tape of Paul Anka in the car, which by that time when I was a kid was already old music, but it was the music my parents were listening to. And I remember being in the car with my dad. We were going to a gas station to wash the car, fill her up. And in those days, you didn't pay at the pump; you went inside to pay. And when my dad went inside to pay, I stayed in the car, and Paul Anka was playing. And I remember a song called "Lonely Boy" came on. That's really where it all started for me. I was only 6 at the time, but I was already in love with music. And I remember when we got home, I wanted that tape from the car, and my dad gave it to me. I took it upstairs to my room. I played the heck out of it. I had a little Grundig tape player up in my room, and pretty soon after that, I got my first guitar. I learned the basics, and started writing songs. And the songs weren't very good to begin with, you know. And the worst part is that I remember all of them. My first song was called Coca-Cola song, you know, being six. I was in love with the drink and Coca-Cola and still remember. It's a ghastly tune, man. I mean, awful. But I still remember it to this day. But it was a start, albeit a very modest one. And then later on, you know, I went through. I was in quite a few bands and got my first recording contract when I was 21. Nothing came out of it, and the first time that I actually got my songs on the radio was when I started collaborating with my younger brother, and we wrote music for his band, Carmen Gray, and that's really, I think, when one could honestly say that my professional career began.
Oh,
That's sort of my that's you know, that's like what 25 years in a nutshell. You know, 20 years in a nutshell, really. But I've been around and for quite a while, and but that was the and when Carmen Gray was signed by Sony BMG, that's really when things started to take off for me.
oh. All right.
That's
Wow,
the
you had
background.
such a fantastic life. Wow.
I'll be very lucky in that sense. Yeah, I've always been able to make music. I was just actually thinking about this, that I've got many recording contracts. Not all those contracts have actually um you know, taken me anywhere. It's but I'd be very fortunate that people have always there's been great people who I've learned from and who have wanted to release my music. And
Oh,
yeah, in that sense, I'd be very lucky.
yeah, you must have been like real lucky to get to where you are and have all those amazing things happen to you. That's like really good luck. That's everyday
It
luck.
is, no doubt about that. Yeah. Yeah. It's also about, you
Wow.
know, being lucky in the sense also that you meet the right people, because you know this music business is basically is full of well, I don't know, shysters. You know, it's one of those businesses, I think, that meeting the wrong people is the norm even today.
Oh yeah. Mhm.
And I mean, I've met my share of those as well, but for the most part, I think somehow life has guided me towards you know, the right kind of folk, and granted me many opportunities. I mean,
Oh yeah.
I've also worked like a dog, man. You know, so that's the other side of it.
Oh yeah. Right. And I really like your passion for the music world. I mean, I gotta follow this up though. So being a musician, what kind of genre do you like to sing about?
Um, I don't know. Some of the tunes might be a little bit of country, I think, but it's pop rock really. The Impersonators, the group, that, as well as my solo venture, Tom Tikka. Missing Hubcaps. Punk is punk. Punk is punk. I just felt that it was a bit of an overkill. There just seems to be so many genres. It's ridiculous to me. Wow.
Yeah, most definitely. I guess your genre would be kind of like pop indie. I guess it's like pop indie.
Yeah.
Okay, explains.
But then again, it's pop, for instance, is nowadays computerized. It's pop track on it. It's completely, everything's run through the computer. It's auto-tuned, hardly any real instruments, and it's changed. But I mean, that was, and no complaints. But I just thought that it was hilarious.
All right, yeah. I guess I see where you're at with that one. All right, and to kill the awkwardness, it's a new strategy. Moving on. Moving on. Your intro so your intro that you said earlier, is that kind of like your journey, like with music, or is that like part of it and you want to tell us more about it?
Hold on. What are you? What happened after Carmen Gray, or?
Well, the intro you said. Is that like your whole journey with music, or is there more to the story that you haven't told us yet?
Oh, I mean, there's it's a long story. Well, yeah, I think I told the story up until the point of Carmen Gray, but this is when things took off. Carmen Gray recorded 3 albums and 1 EP for Sony BMG, and it was great. Those were great times. My brother and I wrote quite a few songs together, and we got our music on the radio, and it was wonderful, because it was great going to a bus, for instance, and somebody had the radio on, your song was on, and they were on all the time. And that was a great experience. When Carmen Gray broke up, all that was taken away. I remember being sort of down in the dumps for a little while, and then just out of the blue, I was sitting on my couch one afternoon. This was, I don't know, 2013 or 14. I got this text from a friend of mine who sent me a poem titled Ghost Town Radio. And this was Antti Autio, the other half of the Impersonators. And that's how our collaboration started. I grabbed my guitar and I wrote a melody to those lyrics. And I thought the lyrics were wonderful. And then I sort of started completely afresh with the Impersonators. Started recording demos for the group in my living room. The equipment that I had was very rudimentary and not very good, I'm afraid. But it was a start, and little by little, I got better and better, and before we knew it, the demos got good enough, so we got signed by FBP Music, and that's when our producer Janne Saksa came on board, and we started recording some new stuff for FBP Music, and went single by single for a while, but now released an album a month ago, Life of Grant. Then while all this been happening, I've also released stuff under the banner Tom Tikka and the Missing Hubcaps, which is sort of my solo stuff. Songs that didn't quite fit Carmen Gray or the Impersonators. I have a huge backlog of stuff. And that's my Tom Tikka and the Missing Hubcaps is sort of a outlet for those tracks.
Oh, that's so powerful and moving. This could be a book one day.
Yeah. why not? It just
Yeah.
takes time to write it, man. It's I'm writing a book is I'm actually writing a book right now. More than halfway through. It's based on my dad's. He was a merchant marine. It's based on the stories that he told when I was a kid about life at sea, and in many ways, it's the Impersonators album "Life of Grant" is also based on the stories that my dad had told, my godfather told. Grant is a fictional character. It's sort of a rock opera. It's a fictional character based on my dad and my godfather.
Oh, wow, that sounds amazing. I would read it. But it's also very powerful. It's based on your father. Wow. That would be a powerful book. What's it called?
The book's gonna be called Perfect Reflection. It's a story about a Finnish merchant marine who sort of gets lost in Argentina, and but the Impersonators album is sort of true story about people who were merchant marines and were at sea or fought in Vietnam, came back with PTSD and had to deal with life. And that's basically, they're two different stories. The book will be about
Oh,
adventures, and the album that just came out is about finding your way back into the society and finding your place again with all these things that have happened to you. So they're sort of two different parts of the same story. The book is sort of a project that I'm working on. I want to record a lot of this stuff for my sons that when they're when they're when they're older and maybe I'm not around anymore, they can pick up the book and read about their granddad. At least the stories, not all of it. It's part of it is fiction.
oh yeah, oh yeah. But it's amazing what you're doing. I mean, wow. I mean, I'm just blown away. Now it's like it's crazy, and how your life turned out to be. It's insane too. Wow. I
Oh,
gotta take a
a lot, a
breather.
lot, a lot of it's been there. Okay, cool.
Keep going.
A lot of it's actually quite normal. It's kind of weird. Your kids always sort of um there I was listening to music the other day in the kitchen, one of the new tracks that I was working on. And actually one of the tracks that then ended up on the Impersonators new album called Scarlet Hell. Well, this was couple of months ago, actually, not days ago. And I was listening to the masters and making sure that everything was just sort of up to par. And my 6-year-old son walked into the kitchen, and I was listening to Scarlet Hell, and he said that, "What's that?" I said, well, that's my new song. It's a new single. And he looked at me and said, "Well, it's not very good, is it?" And I said, "Okay." And it's like, "What would you like to listen to?" And he said, "I want to listen to Ghostbusters." And so I listened to Ghostbusters. Then I put some Eagles on after that, and he came back to the kitchen. I said, "That is this you?" I said, "No, absolutely not. This is the Eagles. They're a legendary group." He said, "Well, this is not very good either." And I said, "What do you want to listen to now?" And it's like, "I want to listen to Ghostbusters again." And so if your head's in the clouds for even 1 second, your kids will bring you down, to the ground. They pull you down to the ground and remind you that um, it's just everyday life, really, mostly.
All right. Right, but it's
And there
hilarious
have
the
been
amount of
some interesting adventures, man, along the way, which I'm not going to talk about now because they involve a lot of other people. But yeah.
right, got you. But it was hilarious the amount to listen to Ghostbusters. Wow, that's hilarious. So I'm so shocked he didn't even want to send the Eagles or your single. I like both of them.
Oh, well, yeah. Yeah, I mean, but it's one of those things. And I remember my oldest son when he was very small, and I was going to work. I was working as a university lecturer. Then this is way back. He's going to be 18 now. I was going to work, and I had to give a presentation, and had my suit on, and he looked at me and said that, wow, you look smart today, Dad. I said, thanks, man. And he said, what you gonna do at work today? So I'm gonna give a talk. I said, that you? I said, yeah, me. Then he said, is there gonna be anybody who's important? I just stuff like that, I just, yeah, stays with you. Just
Yeah.
completely cracked me up.
Yeah, it's cracking me up too, but I can see where the everyday life part comes in. Where I came
Yeah.
from.
Well, I mean, making music's really, it's kind of weird because when you start out, when you're young, really young, you kind of you think it's going to be all just studios and backstage parties and signing autographs and what have you. But in reality, it's really, really hard work, and you're only as good as your latest single. It's I think that anybody who is fortunate enough to make it in music at any level will notice rather quickly that it's a roller coaster. Because you know um when your songs are hot, you are hot, and get on the radio, get interviewed, and what have you. But then it's kind of like these are waves, and once you hit the crest of a wave, it's wonderful. But then there's always that downward slope. And
Oh yeah.
there are times, because I remember Sony BMG I said that Carmen Gray recorded 3 albums for Sony BMG. They actually recorded 2, and then the label kicked us out, and because I suppose we're making enough money. They were very unfortunate because the biggest hits were still coming, and and we got Warner to distribute our albums, and that's when Gates of Loneliness was released, which was a huge hit. And but I mean, this is the thing, one day everything's going your way, everybody loves your music. The next day you don't have a record contract and a record deal, and you're somewhere just strumming your guitar and nobody wants to hear about you. And then the next day everybody loves you again. It's very, it's one of those lives that if you don't have your feet firmly to the ground, you're not gonna, you're gonna go nuts.
Yeah. Oh yeah, most definitely. And I actually come from a community of musicians like yourself, so I totally get where you're coming from.
Yeah, I mean, it's it. I don't know. It's just people say it's, in the corporate world, people say it's windy on the top, but I think in music it's windy at every level. It doesn't matter. Truly.
Oh yeah. But I think that windy statement is a stereotype.
Yeah. Well, and it's kind of weird though when you're young, really, really young, in terms of what is success. You define success differently. I think that once you get a little bit older and more mature, and have had your ups and downs, and you start wondering what success is. I think that I was actually I was just talking to Michael Stover, who's not just my PR guy, but who's also a label head, and we were talking about what success really means and what it is. And I said to him that, I sort of define success a bit differently now. I think that I've just, with the Impersonators and the Missing Hubcaps, I found my definite sound. I found what I want to sound like, what my music should sound like, and you know, I count that as success.
Oh yeah. Oh wow.
Nowadays, you know, very happy
Yeah.
about it. I mean, that's not to say that I don't appreciate the top 10 hits that, you know, I've gotten over the past year. I love that, you know, and I think it's wonderful because it that sort of roots you on, if you know what I mean. Because, you know, if you have an audience that nods their head to what you're doing, and you want to go back to the studio and record some more. If you don't, then really, what's the purpose? But in terms of, you know, in the scale of, I don't know, in the scheme of larger things, you know, I think that the fact that my records sound the way I want it to sound these days, yeah, I count that as success.
Oh yeah. And I love how you define success. I mean, if businesses and more people thought the way you do, they actually have a better perspective on what success really is, and not just this crap they throw out to the public.
Yeah, I mean, it's true. But you know, I think that I've been sort of once again very fortunate that I've gotten a taste of the other type of success. I think that if you never get a taste of that, what happens, and I've seen this happen a lot in music and in other fields as well, people have this image of what success means, and it always involves money until you get the money and until you get that kind of success and you realize it's not all there is. But if you never get it, you just keep chasing it and chasing it until you burn yourself to the ground. And you know, this has happened to a lot of folks, and it's quite sad actually, because I've seen it happen to close friends, and I've seen it happen to people who are very talented. But you know, not everybody is lucky. You know, and you know, in terms of musicians, though, and here's another thing that I think I find very well unfortunate, really, because there are a lot of musicians, a lot of songwriters out there who are truly wonderful. They're very talented, very good, but cannot write memorable music. You know, because this is the thing in pop world. You know, it's if you can't, it's a problem, and and it sucks. But I think that because a lot of the artists that I love the most aren't hit artists. I listen to guys like the Go Betweens, which is an Australian band.
Oh.
Um, Wonderful. And a British band, the River Detectives. I think the best artists really in the world are, some of them at least, are the ones that weren't really shifting that many records. They're just great, you know. And once again,
Yeah.
we're back to the question of, you know, how do you define success?
All right. I think a lot of people really think about that in their own successes. Like, what is success? A lot of them don't really know what that really means. You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, I know what you're saying, but then again, if you don't know what it means, you really don't even know what you want, and that's where you get lost.
Mhm. I feel like that's what people are right now, and they try so hard to make sure they're not. But in the real world, they are. They just don't want to
Mm.
accept it.
Yeah, yeah. But then again, it's, you know, finding yourself, finding your own
Hmm.
place, finding who you want to be, and even getting to know yourself. By the way,
Oh yeah,
it sounds a lot easier than it actually is.
yeah. Hmm. Most definitely. So my audio cut out. Let's talk when it could be weird. Um, Thank you for that whole I'm gonna say backstory. That's not too weird or anything.
Uh,
Um, Anyways, thank you for that little tidbit. And I kind of want to know about your music. I can see now you're an amazing artist, an amazing person, an amazing dad too. That's really nice.
oh man, thanks.
Really
Yeah,
great.
yeah, it's kind of you to say that.
Sweet. But I kind of want to know about your music now. I mean, I love all the stuff about your backstory, but I really want to know you as an artist. I mean, I really like you as a person. You're pretty fantastic. But now it's time we get in depth about music, about your
All
music
right.
especially. So, in
Let's
your
do it.
perspective, how would you describe music that you typically create?
Music that I create.
Mhm.
You want me to define music that I create?
Well, kind of describe it.
Describe it. You know, it if I write for myself, because I always also write for other artists and other projects, but if I write for myself, it is I retro flavored pop rock. And I think melodies are important to me. I think if we take this to a deeper level, um I I always usually write melody first. Impersonators are a bit different, or can be a bit different, because my bandmate Antti Autio that I work with always sends me the lyrics first, and then I start working based on what I read. Even then, I usually have some sort of a snippet of a melody somewhere, the back burner, that then I start combining with the lyrics. Usually, what happens is that I grab my guitar and I start strumming and write every day. It was my dad's doing. He always said to me, even when I was just a very little kid, he'd come to me and say that, you know, you got to write every day. That people who wait for inspiration never find it. That, you know, just let the inspiration find you every day, and always grab, you know, so grab your guitar and write. And so from those days on, what I have always done is that I write one song every day. Sometimes I write two, but at least one song every day. So that's at least 365 songs a year.
Oh,
And
wow.
yeah, that's I've always, I mean, they're not all very good, you have to understand. But if you write every day, in 1 month, you're bound to get a couple of really good ones. And so what I always do is I record acoustic demos of everything. So I have, you can just imagine how many demos I have floating around. Then I go back to those demos 3 or 4 months later. And because then you know you've kind of gained some sort of objectivity. You can listen to what you've recorded, and it's relatively easy to figure out what's a keeper and what isn't. Some of the stuff I listen to and I'm like, wow, it's bad. How did I even, you know, what was I thinking? You know, and some of the stuff I listen, some of the stuff that I've forgotten, and then that's the stuff usually that I'm sort of super stoked about. Um, and so you know, to describe it, it exists for a very long time. All the songs that I write, they all exist just in these sort of acoustic. They have acoustic. I have acoustic renditions of them. So for acoustic demos for months, and then maybe um, one or two or four or five or six, I sort of 1 month, for example, from the month of July last year. I'm actually now going through those. Whatever I recorded last year in July, whatever the acoustic demos I made, I'm going through those right now, trying to decide if there's anything interesting. And so I found a couple of songs yesterday that I'm going to start working on. So I'm actually like, I'm lagging behind, but on purpose, if you know what I mean.
Oh, yeah. Mm, most
Got
definitely.
more than your answer, but you know, it's more that you wanted. But that's sort of, that's, you know, so describe the music. It's kind of difficult because the music that the audience hears will be retro flavored pop rock, the modern twist. And it'll be, you know, um very sleek, I think, and sort of smooth it out. And but each of those songs their life began as you know, as an acoustic demo. And so for me, there are so many different steps that I take with each of these tracks before they actually make it anywhere. And during each of those steps, the songs sound a bit different. But the final product is retro flavored pop rock with a modern twist, you know.
Oh, I like that. I like that. And I also love that you write every day. It really builds your writing skills. I've never seen anyone do that.
Well, you know, it's kind of a, you know, I sort of need it as well. I think it's music is sort of a obsession, you know. A good one, you know. It's some people are obsessed with stuff that they really shouldn't be obsessed with. But I always say that my first, you know, passionate love affair the first passionate love affair that I ever had was with music, and it's a love affair that continues to this day. I just can't stay away from it. I love it. I you know, it's very difficult to explain. I I will always find my way to the guitar. Um, I can't stay away from it. I record, you know. When I'm not writing for myself, I'm writing for other projects, like, you know, other artists or commercials or whatever. And so basically I write all the time, more or less. Ever since I was a kid, I've heard music in my head constantly, like as a finished product. I don't know. It's gotta be something wrong with me, actually, but I've always enjoyed it. Kind of hard to turn it off, and it's there all the time. Even as we speak now, I'm just not writing it down or recording any of the ideas. But I don't know why, but that's the way it's been, and that's probably why I can release 2 albums in 1 year, even more actually. I've actually released 32 songs this year within a year. But
Wow.
that's part of it. Is just there are all these tunes all the time, and there's not enough time for me to get all of them recorded and released. It'll never happen, but I'll try to get as many out there as possible.
That's good, man. I love your passion and precision and your drive.
Well, you know, it's easy because, you know, ever since I was a kid, or in my teens, I just need 5 hours of sleep every night. So I get
Um,
sleep just
I
five
see you.
hours
I
every
see
night.
you.
Yeah. I don't know. If I'm not behind, if there's not an interview I have to type or do, or song I have to record or want to record, or there's the sort of while around Christmas or summer vacation, I'll and sleep. But the way I see it is that the less I sleep, the longer my life is, and that's the way I want it.
Oh,
Sounds
yeah.
insane when I say it like that, man, but that's how I feel.
It's not insane. It's actually a clear vision. I see clear vision.
Yeah, yeah, that's my vision. I guess that's the way I want to live.
It's, am- it's amazing how your brain works. It's amazing. And I can't wait to see how your mouth works. In this next part. So, this next part.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think in my head. Sorry, insecure awkwardness. Um, Sorry if I keep saying that's a new strategy. Hope that's okay.
That's fine.
That's good. So, a lot of the audience think you're lying. They think that you're lying. They think, well, he needs to prove he's this supposed incredible musician.
Mhm.
Honestly, I kind of don't believe you, which is why I give every artist an opportunity to showcase their music. So that's what you got. I want you to perform a song. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, you want me to perform a song?
Yeah, and if you don't perform a song, we don't believe you that you're an incredible
I
artist.
see. Hold on. Let me see if I can. Hold on.
Y'all get excited. Number one
Hold on.
iTunes
Let me get my
artist get a
guitar.
guitar.
Let me get my guitar.
Oh, he's gonna get a guitar. Okay, that's really nice.
Yeah, sure. Well, what kind of music do you listen to, by the way? I know you featured a lot of rap, I guess. Yeah.
Well, yeah, but I've been opening up to more genres.
Yeah.
I see. Yeah, I
I
mean,
guess I,
when I
I guess
first,
that's what I'm doing here right now. Yeah. Okay, dude, this is even in tune right now. Can you hear it?
yeah, most definite.
Okay, I'll back up from the mic a little bit. Here's a song that closes Life of Grant, the new album, The Impersonators.
Ooh,
Let me check the chorus here. Let's see. I might mess this up. I haven't played this for a year. Let's see what happens. Well, my woman drive me crazy. She keep me up all night. My woman drive me crazy. She keep me up all night. Well, I try to get some sleep. I try to get some sleep, oh yeah. But that woman, she wants to start a pillow fight. I told her in the morning, this is where I draw the line. I done told her in the morning, there's no limit to feeling fine. She done stir-fried my goldfish. Ain't nothing left of my deep dish, oh yeah. But that woman, this is where old Tom resigned. She done nothing but complain. Nothing but complain. If she don't stop, man, I'm gonna hide my hearing aid. Gotta meet a woman, she don't think I paid my dues. Gotta meet a woman, she don't think I paid my dues. Ain't no way to please her. Ain't no way to tease her, oh yeah. But that woman, she put razors in my shoes. Here.
oh my God, wow, that was amazing.
That's
Wow,
one of my favorite impersonators tunes, actually.
oh, that's amazing. Now I can see why you're number one iTunes. That's amazing.
Oh, thanks, man.
And I'm saying that for real. Like I've never like it's been a while since I've heard a really good guitar playing. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, us
Wow.
old folkies know how to do it, man. You know, but yeah, that's actually one of the first impersonators tunes that Antti and I ever wrote together, and you know, I'm just super happy that we got that on the record. And there's actually a very very cool ragtime sort of version of it with trumpets and everything, piano, and I think that um, whoever listens to the album will probably like it a lot.
Yeah, I mean, who wouldn't? It's gonna be amazing.
Well, thanks, man.
Wow. I'm blown away by this and the live banter. I mean, you've been so amazing, and I learned a lot even from little things you just said.
Yeah, I
Wow.
mean, it's actually you know, it's been a while since I've done one of these very relaxed interviews where we just kind of talk and you let me talk and it's kind of cool. I enjoy this a lot. To be honest with you.
Oh, thank you. And relax. You've done interviews that are like very stressful or like too much.
Well, you know, not lately though. There was a point I think last year when I did a lot of interviews, and to be honest with you, probably hurt to do a few more now. Because once you get into the groove, you kind of speak more freely and more fluently. And you know when you have long breaks, then going back to it is a bit difficult at first. But whenever you have, you know, because sometimes you have interviews where you have 15 minutes, and then somebody says that each of your answers has to fit within the 90-second time frame, and so you time yourself talking, and you have this wealth of, you know, ideas you want to sort of put in your answer, but you only got that 90 seconds. So as you're talking and you're formulating your thoughts, you're also looking at your timer, and that's stressful. You know, I think that
Yeah.
I've done okay with those. It's not a problem, but I much sort of prefer, and it's no secret because I've said it to everybody. I much prefer but a little bit more relaxed, sort of hanging out, talking, chatting.
Yeah.
It'll never be as rehearsed and it'll never be as concise, if you will, but much more enjoyable. And I think, you know, it's
Yeah.
been very cool doing this with you.
Yeah, me too. It was so nice to finally meet you. It took a little bit to get you in here, but it was so exciting, and I could never do those kind of interviews where I would time you. I could never do that. Like, I would
Yeah, and I
never
think
do that.
yeah, I think it depends. You know, sometimes when you're doing a radio interview, there's only
Oh
so
yeah.
much, you know, so much on air time, you know, and they're, you know, they're willing to, because sometimes I've done a 5 minute interview, and this was on one of the a local BBC radios in England, and you had really it was like 5 minutes, and you had, I think it was 6 questions, but it was less than a minute for your answers, and you can't really ramble on at all. Once you do a lot of those, you do learn, you know, when the chips are down, you do learn to really put everything that's going on in your head in a very concise manner, or either organize it really well. But in no, you know, in no cosmos or stratosphere is that enjoyable. You know.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I totally get what you're coming from. Totally. And I felt honored just to be talking with you. It's such an honor for me.
Hey, dude, it's thanks for having me on the show, man. There's mine.
No problem. And this is one of my favorites. You know, in movies with the end credits, this is like your spotlight. Also, I had to put you on the spotlight, but you are the interviewee, so kind of fits. You think about it, kind of fits. Anyway, this is your time to say any last words, any advice. You've given a lot of advice, so if you want to give any more, that's fine. And many shout
No,
outs and thank yous. Go ahead.
well, you know, In terms of the thank yous, I've like I said, I've been fortunate enough to meet so many incredibly talented people that I've learned so much from. And obviously, really, I think my greatest supporter right now and for years throughout the Impersonators journey and my solo venture has been my wife. Also makes my music videos and writes with me on and off. The Impersonators album has 3 or 4 tracks that she co-wrote with me. A solo album that's going to be released in September has three tracks that she co-wrote with me. So, not only that, but I think, she always has my back. So there's only one person who gives support to that extent. Other people that are extremely important in my, with my releases right now. Michael Stover, who's also my executive producer. The guy who says the last word in terms of is the production ready. He's very talented, I think, very creative. I love working with him, and another person that supports me a lot. So, I don't want to turn this into an Oscar thank you speech, but those 2 people truly right now, and obviously Antti Autio, the other half of the Impersonator. Any wisdom that I want to leave you with, or anybody who's listening, life is, even if you have a very, very long life, whatever that be, like maybe 90 or something, you'd still have to be 95. Remember to enjoy life, because one of my favorite quotes is that it's not the years in your life, it's the life in your years that count. I think that a lot of people are busy just, once again, chasing success, doing this, doing that. People always seem to have this tendency to say that, tomorrow, next year, when I retire. The sad fact is that, someday might never come. And I think that I lost my dad a couple of years ago. And I sort of, if it taught me anything, is the fact that now looking back, I wish I had spent a lot more time with him when I had the opportunity. Because now he's gone, I can't really travel back in time, although I'd like to, to go and sort of revisit him in the past. And so I think that, the only place this is what I've learned the hard way. Only place that a person is irreplaceable is at home with his loved ones. And that's my advice to everybody. That's my advice to my kids. Just enjoy every moment, and make sure that you spend your life with the people that you love and the people that love you, and most importantly, make sure that you spend your life being you're miserable, make changes right away. Time is precious. Nobody lives. And it'll all end one day.
Oh yeah.
That's my advice. My thoughts, my deep thoughts, to end the interview with.
Wow. So insightful. I love your quote on life. That could be kind of like a catchphrase, or like maybe your lifetime quote that can go on and stuff like that. When people ask about you when you're mentioned, that should be one of the things you should put, though. Look,
Right?
Tommy Tiki, enjoy life.
Yeah, right. Enjoy life. That's right.
Does that sound? Tikka, enjoy
Yep.
life.
Yeah. Don't worry about my last name. I've had many different versions of it. All of these exist, I think, during my life, because I've kept all these name tags where it's been misspelled. My favorite one is Takia. Has nothing to do with
Called you
Tikka anymore.
Takia.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It sounds Hawaiian, doesn't it? No, it's
Yeah.
it's got that Polynesian flavor. And
Yeah.
because I remember going to a conference once and I had a name tag, Takia, and they were really expecting for somebody, that looks like from Honolulu, right? And then I walked in like,
Yeah.
are you Tommi Takia? I said, well, not really, no. But yeah, it's another thing, my name. It's all the different variants, man.
Okay, I hope I'm not saying it wrong.
No, Tikka is the way it's supposed to be said.
Oh, good. I got it on the first try.
Yeah, you got it, man.
Yes. I always try to nail names because if I don't say the name right, I feel like I'm disrespecting people by not saying their name
Well,
correctly.
no, I
So I'm
mean,
trying to make sure to nail it.
names are difficult. You know, it just how there are so many of them. Some of them are easy, like Anderson. But
Yeah.
but not everybody has a clear Anglo name like that. So it just, I mean, you're not even supposed to get him right.
Right, right. Most definitely. I gotta accept that I can't get it right sometimes. I need to accept that more. I
Well, I
can't
mean,
all
if
the time.
anybody blows their top, if anybody blows their top because you say their name wrong, then they got to get a reality check.
Yeah, most definitely. And I've met a few like that. I'm not gonna say their names now, but you know who you are. But just a huge thank you and to y'all out there for listening. I hope you guys enjoy Tommy and his incredible insight and his performance too was amazing. And y'all check him out. Y'all check him out. Check out the Impersonators album and the many more that are out there and in the future. They're really good. I mean, his band is really good. I mean, I would do it. Would y'all do it? I mean, would you? Anyway, thank you guys for tuning in. And thank you, Tony, for coming. Thank you so much. It was such an honor to meet you.
Likewise, man. Sorry, we got cut off there a little bit. I didn't hear what you were saying, but I heard now that it's coming to an end. So anyway, it was very cool to be part of this, man. Thanks for having me on the show. Enjoyed this very much, and well, yeah, thanks.
And I was trying to get them to listen to your music and the impersonators by telling them to go check you out and stuff like that.
All right, cool.
That's what I was saying. That's what I was doing. Uh, anyways, uh, to end this interview on a good note, y'all make sure to check out his music. It's good. It's really good. And y'all stay tuned for more to come. And there'll be lots more. There'll be lots and lots more. And thank you guys. Hope you guys had a good time listening to this. And I will see y'all very soon. Bye, y'all.